European server here to start. But we're waiting for those drop ships to come in. Let's take a look at the decks.
Command coming in.
We've got dual Arctic Cheetahs, Huntsman, Night Gear, Kodiak 3 coming out of Phoenix Legion. Imperial, they're rocking dual Wolfhounds, Mauler MX-90, Night Gear, Summoner, Marauder 2C, and a Hunchback 2CA.
Different pilots for Phoenix Legion in those Night Gears. I believe they've changed up some of the pilots in the Night Gears. It makes you wonder, are the builds different too? I'm going to take a quick peek at them. Those are different builds. That's Gauss medium pulse lasers on the Night Gears.
All right, some initial shots going out. Heimdallite putting some Gauss and PPC in on those Kodiaks as they come out. Still shows 100% for me. I don't know. That cannot be right, but let's take a look at him.
Twinkie Overlord moving right up, kind of in the front right now compared to the rest of EMP, but he does have Heimdallite and Bowser backing him up. Now they're out of the gate. Twinkie was a little bit out of the gate first, but it really didn't matter. They weren't getting too much pressure from Phoenix.
Twinkie playing very far forward, but he's got Overwatch, the Huntsman, and the Summoner up over the top. But I think we're going to have some aggression here from Phoenix Legion.
Right on in.
So they're going out full bore on the DACA right now. Twinkie Overlord then getting jumped by this Arctic Cheetah. The Arctic Cheetah, of course, is hurt down to 53%. He's not going to be able to present himself very long, but they are getting a lot of damage in on Twinkie Overlord, down to 60%, but he is moving around the corner. While this is occurring, the guys that are up on top are getting a lot of shots in
one of the Kodiaks,
on all of these approaching mechs. Selith, Nova, and Arara are basically able to sit here and wail on them as they approach.
Bowser being targeted now in the Mauler. He's got 2 Huntsmen and a Cheetah on him, and those
both assaults are dead for Imperial, and looks like they might be switching on to Heimdallite in that Gauss Night Gear. It's going to be tough for him to put out effective damage at this close range under such a hail of fire, and if those Gauss
this
crits...
Wolfpack needs to move quickly, though, because the rest of their team is
Heimdallite goes down
right now.
3 dead for Imperial, but the damage on Phoenix Legion is stacking up. Those Wolfhounds might be able to pull this off on their own. 4 mechs left, but they are relatively healthy. The Night Gear goes down. 4 mechs remaining for Phoenix Legion, but they are hurt. Case Block is chasing Arara. If he can do something to Arara, that's going to be huge. But right now he's just scratching with just his torso lasers. Solitude and Nova working the Huntsman. He was there alone, and it looks like Dr. Gonzo in the Kodiak 3. I'm not sure he's got weapons. But he's up against a pretty fresh Radic in that Hunchback 2CA. He's got help from the Cheetah, but he gets taken down, and it's starting to flip back in favor of Imperial as the damage that was dealt on the approach to Phoenix Legion is just adding up, and we've got just the 1 mech remaining. The Arctic Cheetah against the Wolfhound. Nova looks like he overheated, but not enough weapons on that mech to take him out. And drop 1 goes to Imperial 8-5.
That was surprisingly close, and I think Phoenix Legion at the end there, yeah, they had a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it looked like they spread out a little bit. They had kind of each of their remaining mechs going after individual EMP mechs, so they needed to stick together a little bit more, and I think that could have been even closer than it wound up being.
Part of that might be because of EMP's response to the push, and I really liked what they did where they, during the push, they spread out 3 mechs essentially onto Catwalk, and they were shooting non-stop at the approaching Phoenix Legion mechs. Essentially, they rotated out. They had a couple guys still in the gate area who ended up getting killed, but the mechs that were up on the Catwalk and wall or whatever were able to be kept fresh enough that even though Phoenix Legion carried a mech lead, you look at the percentages on those mechs and how damaged they are, they took quite a bit of incoming damage during that push to get the mechs that were on the ground. But then you look at it and you're up against a 90% Wolfhound and an 80% Wolfhound, and, you know, those Wolfhounds up against open targets and up against battle-weary, high-heat targets, they just, you know, they are not going to miss. They're going to put that laser on that component, and they're going to finish you off. And I would take a 90% EMP Wolfhound over 60%, a couple 60% assaults for Phoenix Legion any day, I think, just because they can zip in and out, make those shots where it counts, take them out, especially in a map where there's so much places that those mechs can hide. The light mechs can zip around corners and protect themselves, go up high, whatever. At that point, I had a feeling that it was going to start swinging right back into EMP's favor, and as predicted, they were able to seal the deal one at a time on those injured Phoenix Legion mechs and take them off the field, and then come up with that 8-5 victory. But a good effort, good solid effort by Phoenix Legion. I don't think it was the 8-0 stomp that some people thought it would be. They came out guns ablaze and put some damage downfield and made it close, but I don't think Imperial ever really lost control of the situation on that one, and I think that kind of shows.
Yeah, and like I said, I think if Phoenix Legion goes back and looks at that, they're going to see that when it was 5-3, with Phoenix Legion up, they kind of spread out a little bit. They were much more damaged. That's correct. There were a lot more. The mechs remaining for EMP were, in great shape, but they also spread out. They made it easy on EMP to take them apart one at a time, rather than maybe grouping up and a little bit of safety in numbers, share whatever armor you've got left. So just something that Phoenix Legion, if you're looking at this, would probably want to clean up. Hopefully for this next drop, but if not, they're still in the winner's bracket, so they're going to have another shot at this if they do continue to fall to EMP, which, EMP is the best team right now in the world, in MechWarrior Online, until proven otherwise. So it's not like it's a shame to lose to them in the first drop.
Absolutely. So what I've drawn on the map essentially is the concave that Imperial set up. It's not that pretty, obviously, but generally that's the kill box that they allowed Phoenix Legion to work their way into. And while Phoenix Legion definitely got in there, took out those heavier mechs, got the Night Gears off the field, the Mauler, all that stuff, killed them off the field, you still have quite a few, fresh mechs available then to clean it up. I'm wondering, where were the lights for Phoenix Legion during that push? Did they go in on the backfield of the assaults, or did they...
They went with the assaults, yeah.
They went in on the
lights, and Huntsmen were in the orange area here, dealing with the Mauler, the Marauder 2C, and one of the Night Gear's Heimdallite. It was 2 Huntsmen and 2 Arctic Cheetahs. Was that correct? And I believe they wound up trying to come back around the other side, but were taken down pretty early on after they got that main force down for EMP behind the gate.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna take a look here. Let's see if I can get a nice VOD going on for the replay, because I do want to see where they are, because I think those lights could have potentially done some work to, at the very least, get in on the backfield of the lights that were sitting up on Catwalk. And if they could have controlled Catwalk a little bit better, I think it would have allowed their main body to really push in a little cleaner, just a little bit cleaner. So let me see if I got a replay here. I'll do replay source. Hey, that kind of worked. It's a little bit weird, but it worked. So I'm looking at this right now. They're sitting right now. They're gathering. They're taking a little bit of damage, and off they go. So they got the Arctic Cheetah coming right up the gut. They've got Selith taking shots at him. He got pretty hurt right off the bat, but he's going in on Twinkie Overlord right off the bat with those machine guns. He lived very long for being right up in front like that. He was actually able to get himself back around the corner. I think he probably could have suffered a little bit more incoming damage from that effort, but he actually got away with it. Were the Night Gears cruising ATMs like last time?
No, they were Gauss, and I saw Gauss and medium pulse lasers on the Night Gear, so a little bit of a change up.
They definitely did change that up. We did not see those ATMs in use this time around. So we've got a really hurt Arctic Cheetah working. So they were working Heimdallite down, which...
Yeah. And I believe Heimdallite was running Gauss as well on those Night Gears. We've been kind of seeing the Summoner in a lot of these matches being chosen over the Night Gears with Gauss. There's kind of been this knock against Gauss for a while now in some of the recent balance patches. So, we're starting to see that dual Gauss night gear isn't necessarily always the choice, but I think in this match, both teams were running them.
So we will be breaking into the map vote soon when they are ready, but yeah, we can see it start swinging right back in favor of Imperial here. They got enough fresh mechs on the field. The dual Wolfhounds alone could probably take care of it, but that it was nice. I think maybe instead of sending the Articheetah right into the face of the Marauder 2C, maybe putting him and his other light guy to go up onto stage and maybe just decrease the amount of incoming fire coming in from that location would have been ideal. But they got that Cheetah going right up into that Marauder 2C's face, and he took quite a bit of damage from that. In that approach. He might have been a little bit better off on the backfield, but we're going right back into HPG Manifold yet again.
For a second there, I was hoping Phoenix Legion was going to pick Polar Highlands just to see it. We haven't seen it yet in the semifinals. They were down with the last map pick between HPG and Polar. HPG wins.
Awesome. So both teams getting their players swapped around, getting their guys into the lobby, getting their mechs selected. But HPG Manifold is yet again the map. We are switching sides this time. We did see that with Phoenix Legion and White Death Mercenary Company. Phoenix Legion kind of played it the same, so I wouldn't be surprised to see another push coming out of Phoenix Legion. They might try to refine it a little bit better. They might try to control some of that fringe damage coming from the spectator gallery, essentially. Or maybe they'll just try to stay together and focus fire, because while they got in there and they got the job done on a lot of those heavier mechs, I still feel like it took a little bit too long to take some of those lead mechs out. Twinkie Overlord lasted quite a bit longer than you would anticipate. For how far forward he was, there was a little geometry between him and the initial push, but once they all breached around that corner, you would have anticipated, especially when that light mech got in there with the machine guns, he should have been taken out relatively quick. And part of that might be that Phoenix Legion was not landing their shots perfectly like, you know, they would have hoped. Or Twinkie Overlord did a good job protecting his mech as he backed around the corner.
He twisted very well coming back around that corner.
He definitely did. I think with the Marauder 2C, it's more of a wiggle than a twist. Doesn't it kind of have the Stalker Syndrome and those huge side torsos, so you don't necessarily want to twist all the way, but he was able to spread the damage onto all three torsos and live all the way back around the corner, buying his team time to at least deal out significant amounts of damage, which set up for the comeback. So we're going right back in.
We'll have to see if Phoenix Legion can adjust some, or if EMP adjusts some. I don't think EMP is going to look back at that match and be particularly happy with how they performed either.
They probably expected a little bit of a cleaner win, no doubt, but at the same time, a victory is a victory, and if any victory you can walk away from is a good victory, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, they can say, well, that was a lot closer than we had hoped. Let's refine that and come in and get a little bit cleaner victory for Drop 2. I'm sure that's what EMP is working towards here. But at the same time, Phoenix Legion, they got to try and figure out something that's going to work against Imperial. And
I mean, I don't have a problem with their strat, though. That aggressive push, I think, is a good thing. Imperial does map control better than just about any team in the game.
Oh, we got a Proton.
Sit back and control.
Proton's in a Mauler. That Proton in that Mauler. He is deadly with ballistics. I love watching Proton on his streams. He can definitely put out the numbers. And here we go. Initial shots. Out from Haim Delight. Sending them across the way. Each mech taking their time. And there's Proton.
And that's a 6 UX2 Mauler.
It's definitely a hot build, but it adds up very quickly. So EMP taking a left turn and staying on the outer rim. They're expecting aggression here from Phoenix Legion. They're definitely setting up their firing lanes in the open. They want to be able to set up and just receive. Now, Phoenix Legion has the option to maybe slow their roll a little bit and play a cap game and force Imperial to make the initial move, but who knows? Are they going to do that, or are they going to play into Imperial's...
These Cheetahs need to be careful. They're taking a lot of early damage without getting anything in return.
Definitely got to be careful with the scouting. They did get a strike downfield I don't think it hit anything. Well, Heimdallite down to 88%, so there was some definite damage put downfield. But Phoenix Legion definitely slowing down a little bit on this, and I think that's probably a good idea. Look at how menacing this firing line from Imperial is, but they need to get the caps
Legion's
to make
going
up
to
for
play
it.
for caps a little bit, yeah. They've got Theta, now we've got one mech going to Epsilon. Salith and Aurora going up on top. Maybe just trying to get that information. And I see a tag laser. Oh, there's the Night Gears.
Did they bring ATMs?
They did. That looks like ATMs flying out of those Night Gears, and it's the original pilots from the White Death game.
So the tag laser's actually
ATM
coming
12.
from Phoenix Legion then, huh? All right, so
Yeah,
they've got the 3-2 cap, and they're bringing those lights back in. So any sort of advantage having those lights not on the field has gone away. And I think we're going to see some movement here then from Imperial. They're starting to move up. They're being forced to move up. And it looks like they're actually going to go downstairs and try for the Theta cap, which they're going to get unopposed. So 3 cap going back in favor of Imperial. But
here too, if Phoenix Legion looks like they're going to drop down there with dual gargoyles.
Oh my goodness. There's going to be a firefight right here. Who's going to be the first in? Let's take a look. Let the games begin.
The Arctic Cheetahs are bugging out. That's probably the right thing to do. One of the Arctic Cheetahs, though, Aurora, is kind of stuck behind to see if he can get out. Salith might want to get out of there, too.
A lot of damage got put out to Aurora, but Selith got a little bit caught out. He might go down. He is legged.
And he got legged. He is down. Phoenix Legion should not be pushing out here, though. They've got to back off. They've got to back off. EMP is watching that gate.
All right, so they got in, they got the gank, and they got the cap back in their favor, and it didn't cost them really anything. That is a great start for Phoenix Legion. How can they build on it?
That is really hurt. Lord Parsifal and the Arctic Cheetah took a lot of damage there. He is a very valuable mech, especially if they're going to play the cap strat.
Is he legged?
He is almost legged. Open CT, orange cord leg. EMP is rotating around the outside. I wonder if they're going to try and back cap. They are. They're sending another Arctic Cheetah, and I think they should be sending the weaker one, to be honest.
I would agree with that. And it looks like they might be doing that. I think they're filtering him out. Don't leg your own mech by running into him, though. That would have been really bad. They kind of had a little collision there, and with the leg as hurt as it is.
Meanwhile, EMP also going to back cap. Sending Aurora to Gamma. So cap strat, it looks like, is the name of the game. Actually, both Arctic Cheetahs now going to Kappa and Sigma. Phoenix Legion committing to that full back cap strat. So
Phoenix Legion has absolutely no clue that both mechs are going to flip Gamma around. But we're going to see the tickets here start to creep in favor of Phoenix Legion as they pick up Kappa.
EMP's got to
It's going to be on EMP to make a move. That gank downstairs, though, was pretty huge, taking that Huntsman off the field.
It was.
But still,
if I was Phoenix Legion, I'd go under at this point.
Well, they cannot take
the extra damage.
Any extra damage. They could sit where they are, but they need to play very passively.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they need to be ready for an EMP push, and it looks like that might be coming too. Now, Epsilon is going to flip as well.
They do
with
have
those
a
two
gargoyle underneath, both gargoyles underneath, and that's if they push hard, they're split right now.
So Twinkie Overlord leading the push with the Supernova. They're going to take top deck here. Now, does Phoenix Legion have all of their weapons trained on this position? That's going to be the
gargoyles
the
are going to try and come out behind, it looks like. EMP is moving too fast for those gargoyles to get out from underneath.
Those gargoyles are not in the fight, and the Night Gear up in front here is going to get wailed on. He is trying to back up into cover. They got strikes going down. This could add up to pretty good damage there. Nice strike right on the ramp, but that Night Gear is about to go down. Those gargoyles are still out of the fight. Twinkie Overlord overheating in front of the Huntsman. Can the Huntsman get a good solid shot? Looks like he tossed it weird, though, and Twinkie got away with that overheat unscathed. Gargoyles are just now getting into the fight, however. 3 dead for Phoenix Legion, and just the 1 dead for Imperial, but they finally got the Gargoyles
getting on those gargoyles, essentially taking them right back out of the fight.
If those Gargoyles can kill those Cheetahs, though, both of the Cheetahs. Aurora is very, very hurt leg-wise. I think, did he just lose a leg? He did. He is one shot right leg.
Dead. Both cheetahs are dead for Phoenix Legion. That's huge. They played the cap strat, but they timed the push wrong, and they should have kept the cheetahs out of it at that point, realizing the fight was basically over.
All right, so Aurora does get taken out, but in turn, they lose one of their night gears. The Gargoyle is silhouetted up on the ramp. He is getting pelted. I think we've only got 3 mechs, or is it 2 mechs remaining for Phoenix Legion right now?
2 mechs remaining.
The 2 Gargoyles?
Looks both like Gargoyles. One's underneath, one's on the deck, but unfortunately losing both those cheetahs, I think they needed to realize...
Can hit those legs.
Yeah, as soon as the Gargoyle didn't come out in time for that push, the cheetahs needed to be hiding.
Medium pulse laser.
All right, so Peacemaker is able to take out a real-life scientist. Supernova left leg 1 touch if he can get there alive. In terms of the caps, it's 3 to 2 caps, but there is quite a bit of force left for Imperial available, and they're going to start splitting and take Sigma Kappa. This is not going to go to caps. Peacemaker is going to have to pull off a miracle at this point. Yeah, they are splitting everyone off. Kappa and Sigma are going to fall, and Peacemaker is incredibly, incredibly hurt.
And it looks like EmP has no Twinkie Overlord. Is he going to Theta? Peacemaker's going to have to engage. I think EmP is going to choose not to engage and just go for the cap.
I think he's waiting to defend Theta right now. He thinks that they're going to go in and sneak Theta, and maybe he can run in and get the stop. There he goes. He's getting mobilized. He's going to go in and try and make the shot. But it's still not going to be enough because it's going to be 4 caps to 1. There's the kill on Twinkie. But what is he up against with that night gear? And he goes down.
And down he goes.
Good effort by Phoenix Legion. Definitely, they were not. They showed they were not one-trick ponies. They played the slow roll cap game against Imperial and actually made a game out of it. It was a lot closer. And don't pay attention to this scoreboard, of course, but we'll see. But 663 tickets to 750, and definitely a lot of kills up on the board. Really, I think that could have gone a little bit differently, if not a lot differently, if the timing of those Gargoyles was a little bit different. 3 mechs remaining for Imperial. Again, is that 2 8-5 decisions there for Phoenix Legion?
That is. Honestly, that's an impressive showing if you ask me, by Phoenix Legion. Not only getting, a good number of kills both games, but like you said, a little bit of different timing. Maybe the Gargoyles going under sooner, or just not sending the Gargoyles
just not going under at all. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, question 1, did they lose the scouting information telling them that EmP was walking right up into their face? If they knew they were walking into their face, the Gargoyles should not have continued the way they went, or they shouldn't have gone under there at all. Or maybe they just felt like they were overcommitted to going that direction. But even just taking like a hard left turn and whipping around the outside would have been better than going all the way to the complete opposite side. But if they had that if those Gargoyles actually did show up in the middle of an EmP push, how much would that have helped?
Yeah.
Because EmP wasn't necessarily doing any standoffs. They got right up in Phoenix Legion's face. So if they got the jump on EmP, I feel like it would just be them chasing EmP mechs around, where if they were forming the concave, it would have been a much stronger reception to the initial EmP push, especially with EmP being down a mech. I guess I'm big on flank strats and stuff like that, but sending the 2 Gargoyles, I just don't see a scenario in my head where that would have actually worked.
In combination with the back cap that they were trying to run, I think it was too many strats at once. You're splitting too much. Your Arctic Cheetahs are off capping. They did come back to the fight.
I think it was just the hurt one that was capping at the time, right? Just the one that had
both of them went off at one point. But I think if you're going to do that, you need to have kind of both your lights basically dedicated towards capping, and then keep everyone else together, because your job is simply to slow down the other team. By going for cap strat and flanking, I think I almost wonder if Phoenix Legion, got a little too fancy with their strats, tried to do too many things at one time. That being said, if the Gargoyles got up in the backfield maybe 10 seconds earlier,
I think that it would have helped,
EMP
but
right up
once
top.
again, I mean I think that would have been a best case scenario for a bad decision.
Yeah.
I don't know a scenario where sending the gargoyles in behind EMP would have made that big of a difference. I mean, especially with the travel time that it takes. Maybe if EMP was just sitting up top and trading, it would have been an amazing ambush or something, but it allows EMP too easily to just take one step forward and completely negate the gargoyles' position. It would have had to have been a perfectly executed maneuver to work, and I think in this kind of situation, maybe especially when you're up a mech, just allowing your firing line to get the job done would have been better. Like when Twinkie jumps down right on top of somebody and there was a bad overheat right in front of a Huntsman. The Huntsman wasn't able to eat. It looked like the SRMs just completely missed the Supernova in that one exchange. But having a Supernova in melee range, overheating in display of your entire team and then getting away with it, that is not going to give you a win. And if those gargoyles were there, I think Twinkie would have gone down hard. I don't know if EMP knew that the gargoyles were coming up behind them, and that's why they pushed. Maybe they had sight of it. I didn't see an opportunity where they have known. I don't think anybody runs seismic anymore. Maybe they stepped on Theta and saw the flash. But either way, it looked like Imperial was ready for that push. They were ready to get this over with. They were ready to push into EMP's firing line, and or in Phoenix Legion's firing line. And the two gargoyles not being there was a present. It was a treat.
Yeah.
And it completely negated the advantage that Phoenix Legion pulled from that early gank. The early gank was fantastic, though.
And Phoenix Legion needs to understand that when you run that cap strat, when EMP sees the caps clearly being worked in your favor,
they know there's a mech
or any
missing.
team, they know there's a mech missing, but they also know that they've got to push. That's Phoenix Legion. I think, like I said, one too many strategies. They've got to realize they're going to push because we're running the cap strat, and we need to just set up to receive rather than try this. Some people set up to receive, other people try and position to get behind them. This whole, I honestly think it was just a case of trying to do a little too much for Phoenix Legion.
And maybe Phoenix Legion coming into this one thought we have to do something unconventional, or we have to do something crazy to beat EMP, because when you play EMP at EMP's game and you just try to out EMP at being EMP, I mean, you can't out EMP. Sometimes you got to come up with something unexpected. I do like that Phoenix Legion came out with a different strat for Drop 2, because it shows that they do have a bit of a more robust playbook than we maybe saw in the first match with Phoenix Legion, and they played it well. They definitely played it well. They moved as a team really well, and I'm gonna be excited to see Phoenix Legion continue on through the losers bracket, and we'll have to see where they end up going forward through this tournament. But EMP definitely coming out with the 2-0 victory. They got to be feeling pretty good about